Welcome to the Archaeology Studio. Today's episode considers how to find a useful introductory textbook in archaeology. This video introduces a new format for book reviews. In this format, I share my views and opinions about books in archaeology. An introductory textbook can pose unique challenges for presenting a broad scope of information in a manner that everyone can understand. Moreover, a textbook often needs to be updated at least once every few years, or else it will lose its relevance and impact. In the field of archaeology, more than a few textbooks have been popular over the last several decades, and many of those books have undergone multiple revised editions. I will not review every introductory textbook in this video. Rather, I will focus on just two books that I have found to be useful when teaching an introductory course in archaeology. I should note that nobody is sponsoring this video, and I have no vested interest in the books that I am reviewing here. Additionally, I should note that textbooks are expensive. Many people, including myself, are unwilling or unable to pay for the cost of a textbook. In these cases, a library may offer a convenient way to access a book. For these two books that I am reviewing in this video, both of them so far have gone through 8 editions. In both cases, the basic book structure changed somewhat through the various iterations, and the content was updated significantly. Both books deliver more than 600 pages of material. Colin, Renfrew, and Bahn produced the 8th edition of their standard textbook, Archaeology, Theory, Methods, and Techniques, in 2019, published by Thames and Hudson. Kenneth produced the 8th version of his textbook, The Past in Perspective, An Introduction to Human Prehistory, in 2020, published by Oxford University Press. Both books offer clear text, plenty of illustrations, and specific guidance for student lessons and exercises. In my view, as a published author and editor, I admire both of these textbooks. They provide what I want to see when I am teaching an introductory course. I always modify with additional content of my own, but the core textbooks already provide the outline structure, basic information, and key highlights that I would want to use. At least in my experience, both of these textbooks are useful and effective for an introductory course in archaeology. In the last few editions, and especially in the most recent 8th edition of both books, my personal preference has been in favor of the textbook by Kenneth. The book by Colin, Renfrew, and Bahn concentrates on the range of theory, method, and technique in archaeology, using illustrative examples that the authors happen to know from their own work or from reading other published sources. In my view, this book is most effective in the parts of presenting general utility and overviews of issues of theory, method, and technique. I still need to augment these sections with clarifications about different theory, method, and technique that the authors either excluded or minimized in their text. In terms of the worldwide illustrative examples of archaeology, Colin, Renfrew, and Bahn made an effort to include examples from diverse sites and time periods, but honestly, the representation of world archaeology is incomplete. If you are looking for a worldwide survey of archaeology, then this book will be disappointing. To be fair, the authors did not intend to write a worldwide survey of sites and findings. Rather, they wrote about theory, method, and technique in archaeology. In my experience, this book is useful for an introductory course. Students will learn the basic terms about what archaeology is and how archaeology is practiced. Nonetheless, the more you already know about archaeology, the more you will notice that this book is incomplete and in some places outdated. In these cases, If you are an instructor of a course, then I encourage to add more of your own content or to provide references of other published material in archaeology. If you are a student using this book, then I encourage to read more material when you can do so, depending on your overall workload and your coursework content. In any case, the book by Colin, Renfrew, and Paul Bahn still would provide the most basic information for an introductory course in archaeology. The book by Kenneth deliberately aimed for a survey of archaeology throughout human evolutionary history and around the world. The author included basic definitions of archaeology and its different aspects, but the bulk of the book was aimed toward a general survey of world archaeology. In my view, this book is most effective because it was written by a single author who invested in learning about worldwide archaeology. The presentation is consistent throughout the book. Kenneth uses the primary data from other archaeologists, and he presents all of this material in a consistent manner of his own style and format. Kenneth Fetter's book includes concise presentations of the essential technical definitions, key concepts, and scholarly history of archaeology. These parts are not the major focus of the book, but they are presented clearly, accurately, and concisely. Most importantly, these core essential aspects of archaeology have changed very little over the last several years, and they can be updated easily if ever needed. If you are looking for a textbook about theory, method, and technique in archaeology, then Kenneth Fetter's book might not be the best choice. The information in this book is accurate and updated, but you would need to add considerably more reading material for a complete formal course in archaeology. The same critique applies for other archaeology textbooks, including the book by Colin, Renfrew, and Paul Bahn. I am not aware of any textbook in archaeology that provides a full sense of theory, method, and technique in the manner that I would want to see. In terms of survey of world archaeology, Kenneth Fetter's textbook is most effective. Of course, I would add more specific details for the geographic areas and time periods that I happen to know personally. For a worldwide survey, though, this book is vastly informative, and the contents are easy to follow and to comprehend. In concluding this episode, I hope that I have provided useful guidance for you to find an introductory textbook in archaeology that works best for you. What would you prefer to see in a textbook? And what other book topics would you like for me to review in another video? Please remember to subscribe to this channel, share with your friends, and see new videos every month with the Archaeology Studio.